Hi, my name is Lindsay Buck from Coravin, and I'm talking with Michael Trujillo, whose wines are now available on the Coravin Wine Shop. Welcome, Michael.
Hey, good to be here. Thank you.
Yes, welcome. Nice talking with you. How did you come to own and run a winery?
It's been a long journey. So I grew up in Southern Colorado, farming and ranching as my dad had a big farm ranch. Went to school for engineering after high school, took off on a spring break and ended up in Napa Valley by complete fluke. I didn't even grow up liking wine. Anyway, that was in the early 80s. Called up mom, said I'm going to take a semester off. And here I am coming up on about 40 years, and I'm still taking that semester off.
Congratulations. Wow, 40 years. That's incredible. So Cabernet Sauvignon is your primary grape that you use. What do you love about the varietal?
You know, in my career, I've made wine from every varietal and pretty much almost everywhere in Napa Valley. There's something about Cabernet. It's just kind of, you know, it's the king of the red varietals, especially in Napa Valley. You know, what it's known for is great Cabernet Sauvignon. So I just want to be in the arena of the best. And so I strive to make the best Cabernet that I possibly can.
Yeah, and it is tremendous juice. I love it. So for those that aren't familiar with your wine, who should be buying this wine and why should they buy it?
All right. As I mentioned, I've been in this business for 40 years. I have had my hands in multiple projects. I even used to make the wine for a much larger winery, Sequoia Grove Winery. And I was the CEO and president for that company. Life was good. You know, we all work up the ladder and build on our careers. But what happened to me is I just started losing touch of wine. So what I've done recently, and this is way back, you know, kind of been about 6 years now, I just sort of cashed all that in and rebooted, downsized my life, downsized my winemaking, getting myself back out into the vineyard, getting myself, you know, just a simpler, more fun life. And that's what I'm doing. So the Trujillo brand is relatively new in the market, first vintage 2011. And that's what I'm doing. So who needs to be buying this wine? People that appreciate great Cabernet. And I do make wine of an older, more traditional style, very focused, very polished, very rich. And that's what I'm known for as a winemaker.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, and you do play with the other Bordeaux varietals a bit in a couple of these wines, right? Okay, awesome. So let's get into the wines. Of course, I'm going to use the Coravin system Model 5 to access the first wine. But why don't you tell us about this first wine, the 2018 Napa Cab?
All right. So this is my main blend. This is what I make every single vintage year after year. And I source it from 3 distinct AVAs. Rutherford, I have a vineyard there that's named Gary Morizoli Vineyard, which I've been working with for 3 decades. Love this vineyard, love this site. Rutherford, very forward, dark black fruit. You know, has that dusty cherry that is often described. Third vineyard is up on Howe Mountain, a vineyard called Henry Brothers. Up there, you're going to get a more spicy, darker, denser fruit. And the third vineyard that I have is in St. Helena. It's called Healy. That's a little bit more of the velvet silk thread to the wine. So all 3 of those coming together gives me multiple dimensions, multiple characteristics, makes my wine rich, smooth, and elegant.
Each wine is very distinct. And tasted these next to each other. So somebody might say, well, why would I get all 3 wines? So they're all very different. I think very different expressions of the grape and then expressions of the terroir where they're from as well. So on the cab, I get a lot of like raspberry and cassis on the nose. Really coats the palate. I would say this is definitely a full-bodied wine with a super long finish too.
I would agree. I mean, and I think elegant and balanced is a good way to describe my style.
Yep.
All the vineyards that I just mentioned, they have their own expression and they bring their own attributes to the blend. So that fills out the nose, the aromatics, fills out the palate perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you do use a little Merlot, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, and Malbec in the Napa Cab.
Yeah, the one that we're tasting is a Bordeaux Blend, has all
Yep.
5 Bordeaux varietals. It runs about 82% Cabernet Sauvignon,
Yep.
and the rest is the blending grapes. All French oak aged, about 22 months in barrel. And it's a small, for my size of production, it's about
Yeah.
650 cases of this wine that I make.
Wow. Wow. Well, we're glad that we got some that we're able to sell. So that's awesome. Next, let's taste the Morasoli, the Gary
Okay.
Morasoli. Really deep ruby brick, like brick colors, almost opaque. I found it to be a nice dark cherry on the nose, and then fairly fruit forward on the palate. I thought, like currant baked fruits, like very unctuous, lots of depth and concentration there.
Yes, this is an amazing vineyard, amazing site. True Rutherford Bench, for those that have heard of that term, Rutherford Bench. It's on the western foothills of the Rutherford AVA. Just perfect for growing Cabernet Sauvignon. I don't know if you've ever heard the term Rutherford dust, coined by the great Andrei Chelichev.
No, I haven't.
So this, what Rutherford will do, the signature characteristic of Rutherford is that dusty cherry, that dusty black cherry. And I definitely, I definitely get that, a little bit of earthy dust cherry. And that's Rutherford. That's what Rutherford's all about.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That's a really cool wine.
And this wine will age gracefully for 15 plus years. Easy.
Yeah, they're all super structured and have great tannic and tannic structure and bright acidity as well. Awesome. Let's go to the Henry Brothers cab. So can you tell us about this wine?
Yeah, so this is a vineyard site up on Howell Mountain. It's about 1,200 feet above the valley floor. Howell Mountain is very, it's well known for some big, ginormous Cabernets. However, in the one that we're drinking here, it is a blend as well, because on that vineyard, I do grow all the varietals. So I'm able to tame down and sort of broaden the Cabernet and flesh out the Cabernet. So where the one before it, the Rutherford, was pure Cab, this one is a Bordeaux Blend.
Yeah.
Little bit more black fruit, a little bit more spicy. It's a whole different animal.
Yeah, I even get like a little bit of the bell pepper on the nose. Like, I don't know if that's the Cab Franc coming through, but it has a little more of like an earthy vegetal vibe to it, I thought.
Yeah, and that could be the varietal showing, showing their personalities. Absolutely.
Yeah. Really delicious. Again, for food pairings, I think barbecue, braised meats, steak, charcuterie. Anything else you love to pair with your wines?
You can never go wrong with grilled beef. Absolutely.
Yes.
Everything that you just said is spot on. So, it's a big wine that can handle big food. So
yeah,
one thing to keep in mind with these reserves is I literally only make a few barrels of them, like 1 or 2 barrels. So these are very, very small productions, and they are meant for the little bit. I mean, my buyers are collectors.
Yeah.
If you can wait and lay these down for a little bit, it's rewarding.
Yeah, they're beautiful bottles. They're hefty. Yes. It's a weighty bottle. Yes. And yeah, they're just very regal wines and very elegant, and highly recommend. And like I said, we were lucky to get a few cases of each of these to sell. So go get them on wine.coravin.com. Thank you so much, Michael. It was lovely talking with you today.
This was fun. I hope your customers enjoy our wines, and just enjoy the wine. Great Cabernet.
How can they not? All right.
Great.
Take care.